Hey everybody, my name is Michael McDowell. It's great to be with you. I often get the question of, Michael, why do you do what you do? And I wanted to just give you a little bit of my story. I started off as a student in Oklahoma, and my mother was an educator. She actually tutored in our living room, and she would tutor all of these different students in mathematics from kindergarten all the way through college. And she had all of these different students in her living room, and I just loved the sense of community. I love the way that she was always optimistic about the work that we could do to make sure that kids could grow and they could learn at really high levels. And I always felt at home with teaching and learning and with education and what we could do. I then had the opportunity later on to be able to teach in a problem and project-based learning school. And I love the opportunity of being able to design really unique problems and projects and then work with students so that they could learn the core content that they needed in math and in science, and then to be able to actually address real world problems in our local community. I then had the opportunity later to be able to help design schools. And then I became a principal and an assistant superintendent and superintendent. And I love the work of leadership, of working with teachers, working with our community, and working with students on how to build better systems. I fell in love with finding students that were able to start to develop ownership over their own learning. When I found that students could develop agency by becoming leaders of their own learning, I thought this is something I need to learn more about. I also was really interested in the work around habit science, and then this idea of how do we actually help our students develop that deep and transfer level learning so that they can be successful in their lives, not just in academic test scores, but also being able to engage in the real world and being successful in college. And that's why I do what I do. That's really my story. That's what's driven me to work around the world and to work with different educators and different systems and different schools and different contexts to try to figure out what's their story, what's your story, what's my story, and is there a place where we work together to create a new story, a story that we can work together to really be able to support our students in getting more than 1 year's growth in 1 year's time around that agency, around that surface deep and transfer, that rigorous learning that we talk about. What are the best ways of doing that? And how do we make sure that we can do that across systems and across different classrooms so that it's not just a few students that get that opportunity, but all of them. And to do that in a way that it meets educators where they are and that we value educators, right? I come from a family of educators. And for me, I look at teachers and I think these are just wonderful people. They're wonderful people that have committed their lives to being able to support kids in their learning. How do we make sure that we support them where they are to get 1% better every single day, just like we want with our students, and that they can get that 1 year's growth in 1 year's time, just like our students? And the same goes with leaders. Having had a number of years of experience as a school administrator, I know how challenging that role can be and is. And for me, I want to figure out what are best ways to support those teams and that work. So that's my why. That's my story. Love to connect and figure out how do we put our stories together. And I just love listening to your story and why you're in this journey as well. So thanks, everybody.